the next ones. What we're going to do is take a normal curve and put it into the standard normal curve. The standard normal curve has a mean of 0 and 1 for the standard deviation. So they're going to give us a formula. My formula says that z is going to be equal to the sample mean minus my regular mean over my standard deviation. They're going to give us the value for the mean in the other one. And so it says below is a graph of a normal distribution. My mean is 4. My standard deviation is also 4. We want to shade the area between 8 and 12. So we're actually going to do two different problems using 8 for the x and the 12 for the x on both of those two problems. So on the first one, z is going to be equal to, I'm going to start with the 8. 8 minus my mean, which is 4, over my standard deviation, which is 4. If I solve that, I get 4 over 4, which equals 1. Okay? So what you're going to do is use this little tool right here to make a line at 1. So you would grab that, you'd click on 1, and it's going to put a line, if I could draw straight up from 1. That's going to be your starting bar. Your ending one, now we're going to go to 12. So z is going to equal 12 minus the mean, which was 4, over the standard deviation, which is 4. If I do that, 12 minus 4 is 8. 8 over 4 is going to give me 2. So again, I'm going to grab this little thing. I'm going to click where the 2 is. It's going to make a line going straight up from 2, if I could draw straight. And now I'm just going to shade between those two bars. So I'm going to click on this one, and then click anywhere in that middle section, and it's going to shade the middle section in. So number 11, this one just says we're going to do greater than -1. So we are only going to do one bar instead of two because we're not going to be between two numbers. We're just going to go greater than -1. So my formula, z equals x minus the mean over the standard deviation. My x value is going to be the -1 minus my mean value, which is the 2, over my standard deviation, which happens to also be 2. If I simplify that, I get -3 over 2, or -1.5, right? Same thing, I'm going to draw my bar first, so I'm going to use this tool here at -1.5, which would be back here. I would draw my line. Look at number 11. Now I want to shade the area that's greater than that. So the area greater than that would end up being that whole section in there, right?
The whole thing? Or
Yep.
just between the half and the...
Well, it'll be, here's where my -1.5 was, right?
Okay.
And then you're going to shade everything greater than that that's under the curve. So you'll just click in that section. It'll shade that whole thing in for you. Right? Greater than, we'd want to shade to the right. And if it's less than, we'd want to shade to the left. So basically, they've just taken this big curve and smushed it so that the mean was at 0 and had one standard deviation. So on number 12, this time we want to do the ones that are less than 0, says up there. So plugging my numbers into my formula, what would I do? X is going to be what number? Nope. X is the number that we're trying to do, which in this case it says we're going to do less than 0, right? So X is going to be the 0. I'm going to subtract my mean. My mean value is -3. And then I'm going to divide it by the standard deviation. The standard deviation is +3. So plugging those in, simplifying that, if I have 0 minus a -3, it's just going to give us 3, and 3 over 3 is going to be equal to 1, right? So I'm going to take my tool with my little bar. I'm going to mark where 1 is. Looks something like that. And this time I'm shading less than that value. So if I'm shading less than that value, it looks something sort of like that when I'm done. So the X value is this value here, and then the mean and the standard deviation should be given. We got 1 when we did our calculation.
Okay, I thought -1. Is that, and you just have 1 up there?
Because right here you have minus a -3, which means
Okay.
it's going to change to a +3, right? By minus a negative, it makes it a positive.